So you want to be a gray and white a gray and white game master, right? So I'm Rick. This is your seat at the table. And what would you do if blank can't make it to the session? If you run a table long enough and you have the same group of players on a regular basis, eventually somebody's going to have a problem. Like I said, currently I'm sick. I've been sick all week. I've got a cold. It's not quite gotten worse as far as the doctors are concerned, so they won't give me nothing for it, and I still feel funky. My voice is a bit crappy, and so on and so forth. So what happens if somebody doesn't show up for the table for the session? That's one of those things we have to look at and experiment, but there's also opportunities here. So if you have, let's say, 2 out of 4 of your players can't make it for the session. So your options are to shelve the current campaign until everybody's back at the table, and play something else. Or you could potentially look at developing your characters a little better and a little deeper. So what I mean by that is it's quite possible for you have a long rest period in the middle of the session, for that particular session. You have this long. Everybody went into a long rest at the end of the previous session, so the other 2 people are still sacked out. And the 2 people who are at present at the table, their characters are either on watch or coming off a watch or going on watch or doing something else. And perhaps there's an opportunity here for them to focus on puzzling something. Perhaps the group found a magic item or a MacGuffin, and here's an opportunity to screw around with it and find some information about it without that they can then present to the others when they're awake, on the following session. Another opportunity is for character classes lend themselves to this. Goes right back into the scenario where if so and so is ill or sick or not present, perhaps we're down to a couple of the rogues deciding to go and reconnoiter the neighborhood, or to get a better, the ranger decides to go out and range a little bit, maybe see if they can find some fresh meat for the pot, or something along these nature. Perhaps the group's druid decides he needs to go and attend some local plant life issue, or a fauna issue, flora fauna problems, and they do this during that off session when the rest of the party isn't available. There's just many opportunities here that I think people tend to uh, discount. Right. And this is where you have one person, maybe 2 people missing, where the opposing is where everybody's missing but one player, the one-on-one session. And that in of itself can be a challenge. It can be quite fun too, in my opinion. Um, Finding ways to look at the character development. A lot of characters, especially in D&D settings, you race up the ladder for experience and things like this. But if you look at the criteria, the requisites needed to get this feat, or to get that epic thing, or this prestige thing, or whatever, you need to have X amount of time studying, or you need to have somebody teach you. And perhaps this is one of those opportunities where, if the session is you know, stymied at the moment because of missing members, well, the surviving members, we can jump backwards. We can do a flashback just for them, so where the 2 of them or the 3 of them are focusing on some part of an earlier portion of the current campaign that maybe could be resolved a little better, or they could be developing that personal experience where they need to practice and learn how to master the particular feat, or something like this. The opportunities are quite broad if you allow your imagination to try to fill in the gaps. At least that's my opinion on it anyway. Till next time, I'm me, you're you. This is Gray and White.